featuring Nova House Atlanta. All righty, as promised, we're joined now by AJ Jones and Michael Finn from Nova House Atlanta. Guys, welcome.
Thank you so much for having us, man.
It's awesome to be here. You know, when Andrew Doyle first told me about you guys, I was very intrigued. I mean, and you know very little about me to start with. I grew up in the business, if you will. My dad was an actor. Started back in New York when TV was in New York, Playhouse 90 and all that. Yeah. Then he had a series back in the 60s and was a character actor, was part of SAG and AFTRA on the boards and stuff. So I've been around it for a long time. I found it really interesting because I guess the analogy I used when I found out about Nova House was 10 or 15 years ago, you saw a lot of the tech business started to come to Atlanta. Yeah. So the startups and the venture capital people, you know, that's when the vultures also came. Absolutely. And there was a lot of incubators started popping up in different parts of Midtown and other parts of town for the tech industry.
Your WeWorks and places like that, yeah.
And when I first heard the theory and the ideas for you guys, it almost seemed like you were an incubator for actors and writers and the business that you want to stamp out and just put all over the country if you can do it.
That's pretty much the idea. Yeah.
We kind of say take on the model of the WeWork of the arts, kind of the way that WeWork provides access for tech companies and startups like that for like meeting space, communal space, workspace, providing memberships that are accessible to the arts for everybody and just kind of nationwide. Right now we're doing like the audition taping, screenwriting workshops. Screenwriting memberships, and then eventually getting into, I mean, there's really no limit to it. You could go everything from like photography production, you could go to music production, you could go to like kind of corporate level film production with like editing bays, writing suites, things like that. There's really kind of no limit to where it can go. I think it's the exciting thing about it.
And actually, for a writer, it's almost not self-explanatory, but it explains a lot if you're able to do some writing, do some creative writing, and be with others as you're doing that, and especially people that have done it before, that can kind of point you and sort of mold you a little bit. But from the acting standpoint, it's a chance to, those audition tapes, that's important stuff. I mean, you've got to show, if you have range, what your range would be.
Without going into a room so a casting director can see it firsthand. You have to show it from the second that a video starts playing. You know, these casting directors are seeing 200 videos. Yeah. They've got to see it within 10, 15 seconds, or else they're just clicking. Well,
back in the day, it used to be the photo. You'd have the front side was a headshot. The back side, you had your characters.
Like a comp card.
Yeah. So once,
I remember those.
So back then, the casting person, that's how they kind of whittled it down to start with. They go, oh, I'll buy that. Okay, you know,
and with theaters, a lot of open calls. You would walk in, they would look at you and say, nope, yep, and it was like typecasting straight out the gate. Yeah, I've been to a few of those.
Yeah. So what exactly, like, how do you get into the community of acting? How's the word get out?
About auditions?
Yeah, just about your services and the things you guys can do with and for people.
Yeah, so a huge part of it's the agents in town. So, you know, to get an audition, say, let's pick a big show, Stranger Things. Everyone knows Stranger Things. Yeah. So to get on Stranger Things, you have to actually get called into audition by an office. They're called Feldstein Paris. Right. They're the regional casting directors for it. So when Feldstein, let's say they have 5 roles they need to cast for an episode, they don't just blast it out to everyone. They blast it out to the agents who are in town. And then so that's kind of how you hear about auditions in the first place is typically you need the agent because they're reputable and casting trusts them that their actors are good at the end of the day. So then that's how you even just in the first place hear about the auditions. So for us, those agents have started to trust us so much because, I mean, we've got somewhere near 100 bookings in a little over the year that we've been open, because we've created a place that's so different. And our favorite word is cozy. You know, going into studios, sometimes I say it all the time, they feel like a dentist office. They're really sterile, and it's really competitive, and you can feel everyone just kind of staring at you and thinking about how they're gonna beat you. And it just doesn't feel warm and welcoming. And that's,
well, it's not a business known for its kumbaya. Let me help the other guy
very
up.
much let me step on your back on the way up and forget about you on the way down.
And because, I mean, if you think about it, I think that's. So to answer your first question, mostly the agents.
Right.
Instagram has been massive for us too. We've really jumped on the social media train, because anytime like a member books, we post about it. Anytime like a new member signs up, we post about it. When there's events and stuff like that. So it's really cool to kind of embrace social media and see the community kind of work in and of itself, where people are like, oh my gosh, you're a new member. Hey, what's up? I saw you the other day. And all of a sudden we have members now meeting each other and actually working on stuff together, becoming good friends. It's really cool to see, because we think the idea is it's competitive. There's no kumbaya, but to challenge that and to say, does it have to be that way? And to kind of see that work is pretty cool.
It's an interesting business, because it's one where so many people feel like they're on their own to try to make it big. I have to be this person, I have to do this. But you can't make it in the entertainment industry without a team. It's impossible.
Right.
You have your agents, you have your managers, you have the people who support you. You have, the crew that you worked with. Like, I do a lot of independent film work. I try to work with the same people once I find the right people. You build a family, basically.
Yeah.
And so many people forget that that's necessary to get anywhere. You have to have a support
And
group.
that it's been like that. I mean, I remember
Forever.
growing up, John Wayne. If you went and saw a John Wayne movie, it was pretty much the same 15, 20 base actors that would play all the different characters.
Yeah.
And nowadays, it's gotten to be almost the same. I mean,
yeah, you have it with the Seth Rogen crew.
Yeah,
you have the Adam Sandler crew.
It was the 90s Brat Pack. You've got the Ben Stiller.
Yeah,
Vince Vaughn, that whole
so
crew.
It's the same kind of thing that you're
they
trying to foster.
They now call it
that
clicking up
attitude.
in LA. It's like you have to click up. That's what it is.
What's interesting, two quick stories. Yesterday, I'm flying down from White Plains. I'm on the plane, and this guy gets on, and I look up. I went, okay. I text my son. I said, I think Brendan Fraser just got on this plane to Atlanta. And he's my son's name's Brendan. He's a big Mummy and all that other fan and whatnot. So I went on my laptop, and I'm just reading. I'm reading sports stuff and whatnot, and I check in the live section of the AJC, and the second article down is something about Brendan Fraser coming to town for a Marvel series he's doing.
Oh, no way!
Yeah,
good for him,
and I was like,
man.
oh, okay, that explains.
He hasn't been
that
doing
explains
much lately, so
it.
that's good to hear.
But I mean, and also the #1 article in the Radio and Talk section by Rodney Ho was talking about last fiscal year in Georgia. 455 productions, accounting for $2.7 billion in spending. And of that, Georgia started the credit idea for production back in 2009. In 2009, it accounted, I think it was $89 million was the credit to various production companies. Well, last year it was $800 million.
Yeah,
so
we're the #1 filming location in the world right now.
It's gone crazy.
It's unbelievable, to see it, because you every now and then you'll still go in for a callback, and so you'll typically go to whatever studio.
And just to be clear, you guys still. You're active artists. You're active actors.
Yeah, I have an audition at 1 p.m. today.
Yeah. I have 2 tomorrow. I got to put them on the calendar.
But some you'll go to callbacks, and they're typically in whatever studio that current show is filming, and there's studios popping up so quickly that they don't even have time to secure them. Like, you've got this, what was a warehouse a week ago is now a soundstage, and the security guy is on a lawn chair with an umbrella. You're just you got mega stars.
Oh, he's lucky he gets an umbrella.
Literally, yeah. I mean, one guy was mad at me because I came early for my audition, and he was eating his box lunch. He's sitting out there eating lunch, and he's like, "Oh my God!" He's like, "Oh, you're early, man." I was like, "Sorry, it's just what we're taught to do."
Yeah.
But I mean, just all parts of town. I mean, you know, from LA, you see the production vans, the production trucks.
Oh, yeah.
I remember I
They're
used to
everywhere.
live on the south side.
The
where
layers you don't see, the contractors,
Yeah.
the caterers, I mean,
All
all
that
that.
The
stuff,
location scouts
yeah.
were constantly roaming the
I
city.
And
remember-
from a facility standpoint, it's a little bit of overstatement, but
Mm-hmm.
God bless Tyler Perry.
Yeah.
And his foresight,
Mm-hmm.
probably about a decade or so ago,
Yeah.
when he started buying some stuff up. And you remember that? I remember when the stories first came out. He's going to build a big studio over here by this base. He's going to do
People are like,
what?
"What's he
Yeah.
know? He's not."
Wow, that's a weight. God, you're going to
And
blow
he
so
fought.
much
He
money.
fought hard to get there. Like he went through a lot. Just
A
to
lot.
Get,
Yeah, we one of our closest friends at Nova is Raven Drummer. His basically his full-time casting
director,
director
yeah.
there. So we were very close with how they operate and all of that stuff. The story is incredible. Literally, he was doing church plays.
Yeah.
And living out of his car.
Oh, yeah.
And
that wouldn't
just
start.
man, and just I mean to
He got over that.
build that, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just to build it and build it and build it. And I love what Raven said, because we talk all the time about like how does Atlanta keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
And obviously Tyler Perry's name comes up, and at the end of the day, you're just like, how much more do you guys want him to do?
Yeah. Hey, just
Yeah,
out of
someone else
curiosity,
needs to step up.
is there? You mentioned the term typecasting, which has been sort of to a lot of actors. I know my dad was in the same category. It was kind of a kiss of death. My dad was either a bad guy, an Indian, but he was never.
Play villains or
sort of-
cops.
yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. So, are Atlanta actors a little bit sort of typecast in that they're not the LA crowd from a production standpoint? Do you run into that with casting
Absolutely,
people?
yeah. Atlanta actors are underpaid. They're paid far less. They're underbilled. And the reason a lot of productions come out to Atlanta is because they can underpay people.
Yep.
They can underbill people. And people will take it. Because people in Atlanta are always afraid that the industry is going to run away from Atlanta. So, new show coming out, The Passage.
Yep.
Apparently, they had already shot the pilot in LA, or the first 2 episodes or whatever in LA, and now they're coming out here and recasting about half of the roles,
Yeah, it saves them
so they
money.
can pay them
Yeah.
SAG scale and not build them a certain way. So the typecasting, unfortunately, typecasting always exists.
Yeah.
If you look like a cop, you're gonna go out for a
Yeah.
cop.
And I will say that typecasting is not necessarily a bad thing. So many people
Yeah.
put a negative term to it. It really, it's your foot in the door. If you can get typecast and you can be that go-to guy for a little while, great. Do it. Get in the room, get in the door, start working, build that resume, and then you can start to branch out.
Yeah.
You got to get typecast first.
Well, when I was a kid, my dad he'd go to a call, he'd go to a callback, he'd do all that, he'd get a job. First question we'd ask him, because there'd always be about a bit of dinner time. He'd be walking back in. There were 7 kids, so we're around a big table, and the first question we asked him was, "Do you die?"
I love it.
Because he was either
love
a
it,
gangster, an Indian, some kind of bad. I mean, he was he died in Get Smart. He was a control agent
No
who got
way.
shot and killed, and nobody died in Get Smart.
No.
But we'd always say, "Well, do you die?" He goes, "Yeah, but not till the end."
Yeah,
But-
that's just always a fun actor's story. I mean,
yeah.
literally the first play that I ever did in college when I first became an actor, I got to die twice as 2 different characters.
Oh,
And
nice.
It was like that. It was the
Dying
highlight
on
of
stage
my
is
whole
fantastic.
thing, man. It was so
I
fun.
love
There is something fun about eliminating yourself on screen or on stage. It's just, I don't know. There's something fun about
Well,
that.
how do
So-
people find out more about Nova House?
So yeah, I mean, we're on Facebook at The Nova House. We're on Instagram at The Nova House. TheNovaHouse.com is huge. And obviously now with like Nova TV, people can kind of find our community through YouTube, which is where it started as well. Yeah, those are probably the main.
Yeah, our website has all our information. You can contact us directly on there. Our phone number's on there. There's a form you can fill out that'll go straight to our email. All our hours, information, just about everything is on there. And we try to keep it as up to date as possible with all the events we do and everything. It gets to be a lot. So there's a big calendar on there showing you everything that's going on. And then NTV is the big new one, which I'd like to talk about it for a minute.
Sure,
if I may,
go ahead.
'cause I think it's so important for this market. We're trying to create a network that is organically grown, that is artists helping artists, so that we can really elevate this market into something where we're looked at as in LA or in New York, because the content is starting to be created here. And it's not just content put out real quick with no thought. It's really well crafted, well curated, thought out, well produced, well written, well acted, like solid content, so that people can turn around and say, oh, you know what? There is talent in Atlanta. There is real skill down here. Maybe we are lowballing them. Maybe we are, kind of pushing them to the side because LA and New York have been established for so long. Yeah. We kind of want to change that system a little bit, because there's a lot of good people down here that are working really hard.
Well, just on the other side here in the other room, a guy named Andrew Doyle. Really, really good.
Cool.
Yeah,
Andrew
and you'll
Doyle.
get a chance to
keep that name.
Chance to meet him today.
Email us. So
he's really talented. He does everything having to do with this show.
Awesome.
I'm just a talking head.
Nice, right?
Hey,
we're
really
good at that,
just the face.
Really want to thank you guys for coming. Wish you the best of luck, and can't wait to hear more about Nova House Atlanta.
Absolutely.
Hey, thank you so much.
All right, guys. Thank you.